acknowledge that piece of them, getting the client to wellness and wholeness. In the breath work, we also learn to do soul retrievals. It's an aspect of ourselves that leaves during trauma because that piece of you didn't feel safe.
Are you ready to explore the unseen? From the depths of the soul to the vastness of the cosmos, we're diving into the extraordinary. Mediumship, astrology, spirituality, the paranormal, and more. Welcome to your bridge to the other side. Now join us as we unravel the mysteries of the universe, one question at a time, with your host, Kat Walker.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is our Bridge to the Other Side with Kat Walker and our very special guest, James Gilliland. And hopefully we can kind of wind up some of the things that we've been talking about the last few episodes with regard to energy healing, cranial sacral work, shamanism, all the things that James does. And hopefully we can also get to the part where you can learn how to find a competent practitioner in your own area. Before we get there, I very much would like for James to discuss how he utilizes shamanism in his practice with his people who come see him. So, James, welcome back, and tell me I know how you have incorporated some of it with me, but everybody's not me. So, tell me, how do you incorporate your shamanism?
When I incorporate my facilitation of energies, I don't address it in this modality or this modality or this modality or this modality. It's just a current that spirit moves through me. And sometimes I'll find I'm doing a soul retrieval. I will say anytime I'm breathing, that inspiration of spirit of God, that is a form of shamanism. Sometimes I do chants, tones. I would consider that all kind of part of shamanism. Shamanism is a wide spectrum of, to me, it's the connection of the creator, spirit, God, channeling the energies through in a pure form, between the hollow bone and the frequencies moving through me into my client. I do, there are protocols with cranial sacral that I do. They might not all be in the steps that traditional cranial sacral is, but I go through the steps of it because it provides a structure for the facilitation of getting the client to wellness and wholeness. So I don't address it like, okay, I'm going to drop into the shaman piece, or I'm going to drop. No, it's just my being and me embodying my spirit, my soul, and allowing that channel to come through to the client that's on the table. And that's why every client has a different experience, and why each session will be a different experience. There's sometimes I start at the feet, sometimes I start at the waist, sometimes I'm at the head. The body, the client, the energies that are working dictate how that session will be going.
I think I can really grasp what you're trying to say. Everything becomes so incorporated into your abilities to heal and work with energy, et cetera, that it's hard to separate out. It's almost like if you have a glass of water or 6 glasses of water and you all pour it into a pitcher and you're the pitcher. And so whatever comes out of that pitcher is what's needed for that plant. I did specifically want to get into soul retrieval because I'm just beginning to understand a little bit about that. And I know that that is another question that people have had for me.
Okay. Soul retrieval, I learned from Sandra Ingberg. It's where, when we have traumas, aspects of ourselves will disassociate. And I spent my first 30 plus years disassociating. And as an empath, thinking that someone else's feelings was mine. I wasn't really embodied. Shamanism actually got me more embodied. Shamanic breathwork it is a modality in itself. That's a 3-hour process, sometimes 4. That's usually done in a group. And going back to the soul retrieval, in the breath work, we also learn to do soul retrievals and the breath work as well. It's an aspect of ourselves that leaves during trauma because that piece of you didn't feel safe. And so as I'm working on a client and there's an aspect that wants to come in, then I blow that aspect back into the client, bless it, and tell the client that what I have done, so that they can embrace and acknowledge that piece of them coming back into their wholeness. A lot of times it's between 3 and 12 years old. Sometimes it's a 27-year-old, 20. I haven't really done one older than 45, but that's not to say that that wouldn't happen. And I just take in the aspect. I don't know the personal reason or behind these aspects are coming back, but the client does. And, or if they don't, they have information to research or to search within themselves to seek out what was the trauma, or, traumas can be anything. The smallest little thing to a 2-year-old would be a trauma.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yes.
Okay. Say, for instance, I had a trauma at age 15.
Right.
Would the part of the retrieval be like a dissociation of myself from that trauma that I had dissociated from, for somewhat of a survival mechanism, which is no longer serving me?
Yes.
Okay. So then I'm at the point where I'm ready to integrate that and heal it. So that, okay, just trying to get a grip on exactly what that means, because you have done this to me more than once, and actually did correspond with various different traumas in my life. So, and I too have been known to be out of my body, so and dissociate from things. So, okay.
And some of the older clients that I've had, I blew in a younger self, and after their session, they actually felt younger. And so there's magic that happens in that process, and something that I cannot describe or explain.
I did hear from one of the clients that you had worked on, who was also one of my clients, and I did not know her story, but she had some very traumatic things happen at a very young age. And when I had done a reading on her, I kept getting over and over again, you need to find the joy which you lost from it being a child. And apparently you were able to, and I gave her some work to do to help do that, but you were able to do some work on her. And she later said it was the lightest and most joyous she had felt that she was a child. And since that time, she has gone on to do the things that I had suggested to her to do to now beginning to incorporate joy into her life that she had as a child and traveling and doing things, riding horses, and all these things that she had joy with, but had ended with these traumas. So I can attest to how that seemed to have worked for her. I'm understanding it better now talking to you.
Yes.
So that's that's a really big thing. And I don't know that we come to this lifetime without having a measure of trauma. That's how we grow. What else do you think is important for the viewers and listeners to know about trauma?
I'm a product of trauma myself. And being a child of trauma, I know the vibration. And by the work that I've done with myself and creating my wholeness, that's where I believe clients, whether conscious or unconscious, they can feel that. And that's why they feel safer with me on the table than they might some other practitioner. So it's all a process without judgment. Judgment is one of the harshest things that we have to work through. And when we can surrender and allow and trust, then those are the main keys into coming back into the wholeness.
This kind of a really important subject because I have had many, many clients ask me through the years how they could get a practitioner who does the type of work that you do. Now, you only recently moved back to the Kansas City area, so I used to have to try and coerce you to come down here because I didn't always know who to recommend for people to go to, or ways for them to find people who are competent in some of these types of modalities. And I think we have viewers from all over. So what are the things that a person can do to find somebody who is competent, who has the experience, who has the ability to do? Certainly nobody does everything the same, but who can help somebody in these types of healing ways?
That's a tough one for me to answer. To find a competent and someone that resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
People ask about cranial sacral, and I can say Upledger does have a certification process. And probably the more knowledge, the more skilled therapist would be able to do cranial sacral.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the other extra things I bring into it.
Right.
But if you've done at least SER1, you should be able to work with anyone. The SER2, that would be an added, or to do also the clinical studies down at the Institute. And you could go on to upledger.com, I believe it is, and find different therapists that have went through their training.
Mm-hmm.
That some of them are even certified.
Mm-hmm.
I would say just because they're certified doesn't make them good.
Understood.
It's how they present and the work, how much they've used the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say that for the Reiki part. A Reiki master might not necessarily be your best Reiki practitioner. As long as they've had Reiki 1, they can do hands-on. I prefer at least Reiki 2. That's the distance healing. And International Reiki Alliance has a website that you can go and look at all the different Reiki practitioners. And I think maybe Reiki masters. It's been since I've been on that website. But those are probably good places to start.
Okay.
For the shamanic world, shamanic breathwork is a trauma therapy. And Venus Rising down in North Carolina, down around Silva, between Silva and Cherokee, North Carolina. They have programs down there that train facilitators, and anyone that's been through their facilitation training, they do have a directory on, I believe it's venusrising.com. I need to kind of look at that. But those would be avenues. But those would just be where to find the names, or the names and where they live. But the most important piece in that is to interview a person. Interview the practitioner. What vibe do you get off of them? Do you resonate with them? Ask them what their theology is in approaching I call it facilitation, not necessarily healing. If they use I'm the healer, they probably still have some ego things to work through. But that doesn't mean that they won't be valuable in helping you with your evolution into your wholeness. So those are a couple of places. I don't know if Michael Harner still has his shamanic studies group going.
Mm-hmm.
I know Sandra Ingerman is still very actively teaching the soul retrievals and shamanism. She's down in Santa Fe and now doing things on Zoom. But those would be places to start.
Okay.
But the most important thing is interview them yourself and see what their belief systems are, see what their vibrations are, and see how much attached to things, attached to the work that they do. If there's more attachment, usually the more ego is. When I first became a Reiki master, I was one of the... I could heal the world, and it was me doing it. And I became very humble because I was given the lesson of not being the healer, because when I owned it, nothing worked.
Well, James, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you to either set up an appointment for a session, or I know you're going to be doing some workshops and some drum sessions, shamanic drumming, and various different things that you're planning on doing that are maybe not set up yet, but people will want to know. How can people get in touch with you?
They can email me at jgilliland, GILLILAND, TME at gmail.com. TME is Thundering Mountain Eagle, and my given name's Little Pups. Most people don't know what TME stands for at the end of my name, of my email name.
Okay.
And they can also call me, 816-365-0056.
Thank you, James. I've so appreciated having you on the podcast. And folks, please like this podcast, follow this podcast. This will enable us to be able to continue to bring you more content, which I really feel is very valuable. Also, like me on Facebook and Instagram. Again, that gives me the ability to reach out and reach more people and continue to do this type of work. So all of you have a great rest of your week, and thank you for being with us. Oh, and don't forget to listen to any of the podcasts with James that you missed, because there's a lot of content there. Namaste.
We hope you found this episode of Your Bridge to the Other Side enlightening and insightful. Kat Walker appreciates you spending time with her, and as a token of her appreciation, she is offering a unique opportunity to 10 of the first 50 subscribers, a free 15-minute reading with Kat Walker. To enter, you must subscribe to our podcast. Next, email the date you subscribed, your full name, phone number, city and state, and your question. Send that to yourbridgetotheotherside@gmail.com. Again, that email address is yourbridgetotheotherside@gmail.com. This offer is limited to the first 50 subscribers and is only available to residents of the United States. You must be at least 18 years of age to enter. Don't miss out. Winners will be selected randomly and notified via email. To learn more about Kat Walker and her mediumship services, visit her website at katwalkermedium.com. Join us next time as we delve deeper into the fascinating world of mediumship, astrology, psychic abilities, spirituality, numerology, and more on Your Bridge to the Other Side.